My mother laughed so hard she had to hold the edge of the table. "Leora, you really think you can say no to us and still get anything?" she said, like it was the funniest joke in all of Singapore. My father, Raymond Tan, did not laugh. He did something worse. He smiled and looked around the room as if the win was already printed on paper. We were in a quiet meeting room at Co. and Partners on Robinson Road. The air smelled like coffee and polished wood. A gold nameplate sat in front of the man at the head of the table, Benedict Co., executor. My older brother, Darius, leaned back with his arms crossed. He wore a watch that cost more than my old rent. He kept tapping the face of it, like he wanted the will reading to hurry up. My little sister, Mina, sat beside our mother, Esther, and kept fixing her hair. She looked like she had come to a party, not a funeral. I sat alone on the other side, hands flat on the table. I did not dress flashy. A plain navy blazer, clean shoes, no jewelry except my wedding ring. They did not know why I could sit that calmly. They thought I had nothing. 2 days ago, my grandfather, Tan Boon Kiat, died in a private hospital near Novena. The family acted sad in public, but behind closed doors, they acted hungry. My parents called me the same night. "Come for the will reading," my father said, "and do not start any drama." I almost said I would not go. I had spent years building a life without their rules, but my grandmother's last words to me made me pick up my car keys instead. Even when they laugh, "You walk in with your head up?" Monsieur Ling had told me once, "Your work will speak when you do not." So I came. Benedict Co. cleared his throat. "Thank you for arriving on time. Before I begin, I need to confirm identities." My mother snapped open her bag and slid her ID forward like a queen showing a seal. My father did the same. Darius smirked as he handed his over. Mina leaned in and whispered, "Make sure they spell my name right." When my turn came, I placed my ID down and said, "Leora Tan." My mother's smile returned. "You still use Tan, after running away from us?" "I earned my name," I said. Raymond's jaw tightened. "We gave you that name. You used it like a leash," I answered. Darius made a fake sad face. "Here we go." The rebel speech. Benedict lifted a hand. "Please, this is not the place for arguments." My mother pointed at me. "She refused our rules, Mr. Co. She refused the family. She refused the plan we made for her life. Now she wants to sit here like she belongs." I took a slow breath. The room felt smaller, like it always did when they talked like that. For years, my parents had one set of rules for me. Rule 1. Work for the family. My father owned Tan Meridian Properties, a real estate company with shiny buildings and strict dress codes. He wanted me at the front desk, then in sales, then in management, always under his eye. Rule 2. Marry the right kind of man. In their world, love was a business deal. Rule 3. Obey and be grateful. Questions were disrespect. Dreams outside their list were childish. When I was 17, I tried to break those rules with one sentence. "I want to study systems engineering," I said at dinner. "I want to build security tools. I want to protect people online." My father set down his chopsticks like I had insulted him. "That is not a daughter of mine," he said. My mother leaned in, voice sweet like syrup. "That is a hobby, Leora. Real work is property. Real work is legacy." Darius laughed, mouth full of food. "She wants to be a hacker," he said, like I had said I wanted to live in a tree. I still remember Mina's eyes on me. She was 12 then. She did not laugh. She just watched, learning who got punished in this house. I got a scholarship anyway. I went to National University of Singapore. I studied late. I worked part-time. I won a student contest for a safety app that helped people lock down their phones fast after theft. When my parents found out I had applied for an overseas program, they called me home. My father stood in his office, the one with the big window facing Marina Bay. He slid a paper across the desk. A family agreement. It had rules printed in bold. Live at home. Work at his company. Stop wasting time on computer nonsense. In return, I would get a car, a monthly allowance, and future inheritance considerations. I read it twice, then looked up. No. My mother gasped like I had slapped her. My father's face turned hard. "You will sign it," he said. "I will not," I said. "I am not a pet." Darius had been standing by the door. He laughed and clapped slowly. "So brave," he teased. So stupid. My father pointed at the paper. Without us, you are nothing. You will crawl back. I did not crawl back. I moved into a tiny flat in Queenstown with peeling paint and a noisy lift. I ate instant noodles and cheap bread. I carried my laptop everywhere like it was a lifeline. My first job was not fancy. I worked in IT support at a shipping company, resetting passwords and patching old systems. But at night, I built something of my own. A platform that helped small businesses spot fake logins and stop attacks in seconds. Simple screens, clear alerts, fast response. I named it Lantern Gate. I did not use my family name on it. I used my middle name, June, and my married name after I met my husband later. Leora June Hale. The choice was not about shame. It was about peace. Quick pause. If you are enjoying this story so far, tell me, what do you think about my channel TrueVenge Chronicles? Please comment where you are watching from, and subscribe so you do not miss what happens next. Now, back to my family and the will. My parents did not call unless they needed to remind me that I was a disappointment. During Chinese New Year, my mother would send one cold text, "Hope you are still alive." Darius would post photos of his new car, then comment under my old photos, "Still playing with computers?" My father would tell relatives, "She is going through a phase." Only one person did not treat my dream like a disease. My grandmother, Ma Suling. She lived in a calm apartment in Bukit Timah, full of plants and old photos. When I visited, she would press fruit into my hands and ask about my work like it mattered. "You have fire," she said. "Do not let them pour water on it." She helped me in small ways, quietly. A grocery bag here, a bus card there. Once, she slipped me an envelope with $500 and said, "Do not argue. Just build." I learned later that she fought with my father about me. "She is not your trophy," Ma said. "Let her be." My father hated that. He loved control more than comfort. By 26, Lantern Gate had grown. I left my job and hired 2 engineers, then 5, then 12. We got a contract with a bank to protect customer logins, then another contract with a hospital group. We were not famous. We were not on billboards. But we were real, and we were strong. I still did not tell my family, because they did not deserve to use my success as decoration. Then, last month, my grandfather asked to see me. It was late evening. His nurse called. "He keeps asking for Leora," she said. "He says it is urgent." I drove to the hospital, heart tight. Grandpa had always been quiet, but his silence carried weight. When I entered, he looked smaller than I remembered, skin thin, eyes sharp. He motioned me closer. "They think you are weak," he whispered. I swallowed. "I am not," he nodded. "Good, because they are planning again." "What do you mean?" He coughed, then said, "Your father wants my shares. He wants the trust. He wants to lock you out. He says you broke the family rules, so you should get nothing." My chest burned. "What about what you want?" Grandpa's hand shook as he reached under his pillow. He pulled out a brown folder. "I wrote it down," he said, "and I recorded them." My eyes widened. "Recorded?" He gave a small, tired smile. Old men learn new tricks. He placed the folder into my hands. "Do not open it here," he said. "Keep it safe. When the time comes, do not bend." I nodded, confused and scared. On the drive home, I did not open the folder. I just gripped the steering wheel and listened to my heartbeat. 2 weeks later, he was gone. Now, in this meeting room, my mother laughed like I was still 17. Benedict Ko opened a thick file. "I will now read the last will and testament of Tanbun Kiat," he said. My father leaned forward. Finally, Benedict read the first lines, the formal parts, slow and clear. My brother's leg bounced under the table. Then Benedict said, "Before distributions, there is a statement from the deceased." He clicked a remote. A screen on the wall lit up. My mother frowned. "What is that?" Benedict said, "A video message, recorded and attached to the will." The screen showed my grandfather sitting in a chair. The date stamp read 3 weeks ago. Grandpa looked into the camera and said, "If you are seeing this, I am gone, and you are already thinking about what you can take." Darius laughed out loud. He always loved drama. Grandpa continued, "I built my money with hard work. I did not build it so my children could use it as a weapon. My father's face stiffened. Grandpa said, Raymond, Esther, if you are in this room, you have tried to control everyone around you. You tried to control Leora most of all. You laughed at her dreams. You called her stubborn. You called her ungrateful. My mother's smile faded. Grandpa leaned closer to the camera. But I watched her work. I watched her build. I watched her refuse to become a puppet. Darius scoffed. This is ridiculous. Grandpa said, so here is my will, not your plan. Benedict paused the video and looked at all of us. The deceased's words are part of the record, he said. My father cleared his throat. Just read the will. Benedict nodded and continued. I leave my personal items to be divided fairly, he read. I leave a small cash gift to my church and to selected charities. My mother relaxed again. See? Normal. Then Benedict's voice changed. I leave controlling interest in Tan Meridian properties, held through the Boone Kiat Family Trust, to my granddaughter, Leora Tan Hale. The room went dead silent. My mother blinked. What? Darius sat up. No way. My father stood so fast his chair scraped. That is impossible. Benedict kept reading. Calm as stone. Leora Tan Hale will serve as chief trustee and managing director of the trust's assets. My mother's laugh came out as a sharp sound. Managing director? She does not even work for us. I met her eyes. That was the point. Benedict lifted another page. The trust also includes shares in Lantern Gate Security Pty Limited, valued at 72 million Singapore dollars at the time of this will. My brother froze. Lantern Gate? He whispered. My father's lips parted. That company? Benedict looked at me. Miss Hale, is your legal name on record? I nodded once. And that was when my father's face turned from anger to fear, because the name he had mocked for years was now the name that owned his world. Mina stared at me like she was seeing a ghost. My mother's voice cracked. You own that? I did not smile. I did not gloat. I just said, I built it while you were laughing. Darius slammed his palm on the table. This is fraud. She tricked Grandpa. She forced him. Benedict's eyes sharpened. Mr. Tan, choose your words carefully. My father pointed at me. We are contesting this, today. Benedict nodded. You may file a challenge, but I must warn you, the will includes evidence provisions. My mother's face went pale. Evidence? Benedict reached into the file and pulled out a sealed envelope. Tan Boone Kiat instructed me to open this only if any party attempts to contest the will. Darius's voice turned thin. Open it. Benedict placed the envelope on the table. I felt the folder at home, the one Grandpa gave me, like a weight in my mind. Benedict said, inside is a recording and a statement. It may have legal consequences. My father's hand trembled as he said, read it. Benedict broke the seal. As he unfolded the paper, I heard my mother whisper, this is not happening. Benedict began to read. And I knew the next words would change everything, because my grandfather did not just leave me the power, he left me the proof. Before Benedict could read the paper, Darius reached for the envelope. His hand moved fast. I stood, my chair scraping. Do not touch that, I said. He laughed. Or what? Benedict pressed a button. 2 building security officers stepped in. This is a legal document, Benedict said. Sit down. My father snapped. We will challenge this in court. We will say you pressured him. We will say you are unfit. He pointed at me. Your company will not save you. I kept my voice calm. It already did. It taught me to keep records. Benedict unfolded the paper. If a challenge is filed, this statement and an audio file must be played before a judge, he said. My mother whispered, audio? Benedict clicked the remote. A sound file appeared on the screen. Exhibit A. He pressed play. My father's voice filled the room. We get the doctor to sign, we push the papers, and we cut Leora out. If she fights, we ruin her name. My mother's hands shook. Darius went still. And I sat back down, because the laughing was over. Now the truth was speaking. Benedict stopped the recording and looked at my parents. The next hearing is Monday at the Supreme Court, he said. Bring your excuses if you dare. On Monday morning, the Supreme Court tower shone in the sun, but my hands were cold. I walked through security with a folder so thick it felt like a brick. My husband, Ethan Hale, came with me to the doors. Ethan was a paramedic. He had seen panic, blood, and grief, and he still knew how to stay calm. "Tell the truth," he said. "Then let them choke on it." My lawyer waited by the benches outside the courtroom. Aisha Rahman was small, sharp, and steady. She spoke like every word had a job to do. "They filed the challenge Friday night," she told me. "Undue influence, no capacity, and they are calling the audio fake." I let out a slow breath. "They never stop. They stop when a judge tells them to," Aisha said. On the weekend before the hearing, my parents tried to win outside the court. Friday night, my father sent a message. "Drop the trust claim. Sign control to me, or we will expose you." Expose me how? I wondered. They had spent years hiding the real truth, that they were the ones who lied. Saturday morning, a stranger called my office line and asked, "Are you the girl who stole her grandfather's money?" Then the line went dead. Aisha told me, "They are testing your nerves. Do not answer. Save everything." So I saved everything. I went to my safe at home and opened the brown folder Grandpa gave me. Inside was a copy of his visitor log request, a list of people he trusted, and a small USB drive labeled "For Court." There was also a note in his shaky handwriting. "If they contest, play the second file. It explains the doctor." My throat tightened. Even from a hospital bed, he had planned for their next move. Aisha arranged a proper device extraction for Grandpa's phone through the executor. We did it by the book, with chain of custody forms and timestamps, because my parents loved to twist facts. By Sunday night, we had a clean forensic package: the raw audio, the phone ID, the hospital Wi-Fi records, and the exact minute the file was created. I slept maybe 2 hours, and even that felt like a fight. On Monday, when I walked into the court building, I was not walking in blind. I was walking in with my grandfather's voice, my own records, and a lawyer who did not scare easy. Across the hall, my parents arrived with Darius and Mina. My mother wore pearls like she was going to a gala. My father's suit was perfect, but his eyes were hard. Darius tried to smirk, yet his jaw kept twitching. Mina stayed half a step behind them, quiet and tense. Their lawyer, Marcus Yo, shook hands with court staff like he owned the place. He was tall, smooth, and polite in a dangerous way. He smiled with his mouth, not his eyes. A court officer called our case Estate of Tan Bunkiat, challenge hearing. Inside, the courtroom smelled like old wood and clean air. The seal above the bench looked down like it could see secrets. Justice Lim Wei Sheng entered, and the room rose. He was silver-haired, strict, and calm. He sat and said, "Be seated." He looked at the file, then at me. "Miss Hale, you are named Chief Trustee of the Boon Kiat Family Trust." "Yes, Your Honor." He turned to my parents. "Mr. and Mrs. Tan, you are contesting the will. Why?" Marcus Yo stood. "Your Honor, the deceased was unwell. Miss Hale had special access and influence. We also question an audio recording that was presented during the will reading." Justice Lim's eyes narrowed. "Questioning is not proof. Present your basis." Marcus handed up a letter. A doctor's statement that Mr. Tan was confused and vulnerable in his final month. Aisha rose. "Your Honor, we have the hospital records showing the opposite. We also have an independent forensic report confirming the audio file is authentic." Justice Lim raised a hand. "We will address the recording first. Play it." Aisha signaled the clerk. The speaker clicked on. Exhibit A appeared on the screen. The courtroom filled with my father's voice. "We get the doctor to sign, we push the papers, and we cut Leora out. If she fights, we ruin her name." The words sat in the air like smoke. Justice Lim paused the file. He looked at my father. "Mr. Tan, is that your voice?" My father stood. "It sounds like me, but it could be fake. People can do deep fakes." Justice Lim did not blink. "So you say you are framed by a recording that matches your own legal plan?" Marcus jumped in. "Your Honor, Miss Hale runs a cybersecurity company. She has the skills to manipulate digital evidence." Aisha's voice stayed cool. "Which is why we brought a neutral expert from the National Forensics Laboratory." She called Dr. Priya Nair, a digital audio specialist. Dr. Nair explained that the file showed no edits, no splices, and no signs of voice cloning. The metadata matched my grandfather's phone. The hospital Wi-Fi logs matched the upload time. The recording was real. Marcus tried to shake her. "Doctor, nothing is impossible, correct?" Dr. Nair answered, "Many things are possible. This file is authentic." Justice Lim nodded. "Noted." Marcus tried to push again. "Your Honor, even if the file is real, we do not know what led to it. Families say things in anger." Justice Lim looked at him. "So now your argument is that the plan was real but harmless?" Marcus paused. Justice Lim added, "A plan to buy a letter and cut out an heir is not harmless. Continue carefully." I watched my mother's face. She was not acting now. She looked like someone hearing the floor crack under her feet. He tapped the doctor letter again. "Now, this statement of confusion. Who wrote it?" Marcus said, "Dr. Wen Jiahao." Justice Lim scanned the hospital printout. "Dr. Wen is not the attending physician." Marcus said, "He was consulted." Justice Lim leaned forward. "Then produce him to testify." Marcus's smile slipped. "He is unavailable today." Justice Lim's voice hardened. "Then his letter carries little weight." My mother's fingers gripped her tissue too tightly. Justice Lim looked at me. "Miss Hale, why would your grandfather give you control of the trust?" I answered, "Because he saw how they treated me. And because I built my own business, Your Honor." Justice Lim's eyes flicked to the file. "Lantern Gate Security PT Limited. I have read about it. A critical systems contract tied to national infrastructure, yes?" "Yes, Your Honor." Justice Lim's gaze moved to my parents. "Then you are asking this court to believe the CEO of a trusted security firm is unfit, while your side brings a weak letter and a denial. Be careful." Justice Lim turned to Aisha. "Call your witnesses." Aisha called Nurse Lee Mei Lin, the ward supervisor who worked the evening shift. Nurse Lee said my grandfather was clear, asked staff to keep visitor logs, and told them he wanted records because he did not trust his son. Marcus tried to dismiss her. "You are not a doctor." Nurse Lee answered, "No, but I care for confused patients every day." Mr. Tan was not confused. Aisha then called the attending physician, Dr. Sharif Hassan. He confirmed the daily cognition notes showed my grandfather knew names, dates, and decisions. Justice Lim looked down at the chart and said, "So the hospital record contradicts Dr. Wen's letter." Aisha then called Benedict Coe, the executor from Coe and Partners. Benedict wore a gray suit and a calm face, like he had done this 100 times. He told the court, Mr. Tan requested 2 independent witnesses for the will signing. He answered routine questions. He stated his assets and his wishes without help. Marcus tried to interrupt. Justice Lim stopped him. "Let the witness speak." Benedict continued. Mr. Tan also included a condition, Your Honor. He called it a protection clause. End quote. Aisha asked, "What does the clause say?" Benedict opened the will copy and read, "If any listed beneficiary contests this will or challenges the trust, that person's gift becomes $1 only. The removed amount will be donated to the Tan Boon Kiat Scholarship Fund." My mother's head snapped up. $1? My father's face drained of color. Benedict added, "Mr. Tan wrote that he would rather give to students than reward greed." Justice Lim looked at my parents. "You were warned in the will itself, and you still filed this challenge." My father's lips moved, but no words came out. Marcus stood fast. "Your Honor, families can hide things. Miss Hale had access and could have pressured him." Aisha lifted another document. "Your Honor, we have an email thread between Mr. Raymond Tan and Dr. Wen. It was produced under court order." Marcus stiffened. "Objection." Justice Lim answered, "Overruled. I will see it." Aisha handed the printout to the clerk, who passed it up. Justice Lim read in silence. Then he spoke, slow and clear. Dr. Wen wrote, "I cannot certify lack of capacity based on limited contact." Mr. Tan replied, "I will make it worth your time." The courtroom went still. My mother's mouth opened, then closed. My father stared at the bench like it could change. Justice Lim looked at my father. "Mr. Tan, is this your email?" My father's voice came out tight. "Out of context." Justice Lim tapped the paper. "Context does not erase an offer of payment for a letter." Quick pause before the next proof. Are you enjoying this story? What do you think about my channel TrueVenge Chronicles? Write your country and city in the comments, and subscribe so you do not miss the next episode. Now watch what my brother tried right after the will reading. Calvin tried again. Your Honor, even if the wording is poor, it does not prove the will was valid. Justice Lim's eyes sharpened. It proves intent to manufacture evidence. That affects credibility. Aisha did not stop. Your Honor, there is more. After the will reading, there were repeated login attempts into LanternGate's admin panel from an IP address registered to Tan Meridian Properties. Darius shot up. That's not me. Aisha held up a log report. The attempts used the username Leora, admin, and happened at 11:39 p.m., the night after Exhibit A was played. Justice Lim looked at Darius. Did you attempt to access her company's systems? Darius's face flushed. No. Aisha added, we also have CCTV stills from Tan Meridian's office corridor showing Mr. Darius Tan entering the server room at 11:41 p.m. Mina whispered, Darius, what did you do? Darius snapped, shut up. Justice Lim's voice stayed calm, which made it scarier. Mr. Tan, if you lie to this court, you will regret it. Marcus spoke quickly. Your Honor, this is turning into a criminal matter. Justice Lim nodded. It is turning into a credibility matter, and credibility is the spine of this case. He looked at my parents. You claim Miss Hale pressured the deceased, yet your own email shows a plan to buy a letter. Your own network shows attempts to interfere with her company. Your own voice describes a scheme. My father's hands clenched. We were trying to protect the family. Justice Lim replied, you were trying to protect your control. My mother stood, trembling. Your Honor, we did not mean for this to happen. Justice Lim did not soften. Meaning is not the issue. Actions are. He lowered his gaze to the file one last time, then looked up. Decision. My heart hammered, but I kept my face still. The challenge is dismissed, Justice Lim said. The will is valid. Miss Hale will assume her duties as Chief Trustee and Managing Director of the Trust assets immediately. My father whispered, no. Justice Lim continued. Costs are awarded against the petitioners. Given the evidence of attempted fabrication and improper conduct, I am referring this matter to the appropriate authorities for review. Marcus Yo's polite mask cracked for a second. Justice Lim ended with one sentence that felt like a gavel in my chest. Mr. Tan, this court is not your living room. You do not set the rules here. A reporter outside lifted a camera, and for once, my parents could not hide behind our family name anymore today. Outside, my parents rushed toward me, the way people rush when they feel control slipping away. My father got close enough that I could smell his cologne. You have ruined us, he hissed. I answered, you tried to ruin me first. My mother reached for my hand. Leora, please. We can fix this. We can talk. I pulled back, gentle but firm. You laughed when I refused your rules. You called me nothing. Today, the court heard what you really planned. We are done. Darius pushed past us, eyes wild. This is not over. Aisha stepped in front of him. It is over, she said. Walk away. Mina lingered, tears shining. I was quiet, she whispered. I hate that I was quiet. I looked at her and said, then stop being quiet. But do it for you, not for my forgiveness. That afternoon, I went straight to LanternGate's office at 1 North. My team stood around the meeting table, waiting for news. They were engineers, analysts, and support staff who built safety with their hands and brains every day. I told them, my family tried to grab control through the trust. The judge stopped them. We tightened security anyway. No shortcuts. My head of engineering, Jonah Lim, nodded. Already done. 2-factor on everything. Extra monitoring, new keys. I felt proud, and I felt tired. That night, Ethan made tea and sat with me on the couch. I did not need a speech. I needed a quiet room where nobody laughed at my dreams. In the weeks that followed, the fallout hit my parents the way they tried to hit me. Clients questioned Tan Meridian Properties. Friends stopped calling my mother. Darius lost deals because banks do not like risk, and he had become risk with a name. I did not chase their pain. I just built my life. I used part of the trust to fund scholarships for students who wanted to study security and systems. I named the program after my grandfather. Then I visited his grave and placed white flowers on the stone. You gave me power, I whispered, but more than that, you gave me proof. A breeze moved through the trees. When I walked back to my car, my phone buzzed with a message from Benedict Coe. Trust transfer completed. Appointment filed. Stay strong, Miss Hale. I looked at the screen and smiled. Small and real. My parents thought their rules were permanent. But rules only win when you are scared. And I stopped being scared a long time ago. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me. I truly appreciate every like, every comment, and every subscribe. It means more than you know, and it motivates me to keep bringing you stronger, more emotional, and more satisfying stories. If you already subscribed, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please keep taking an interest in the channel, keep coming back, and keep sharing your thoughts with me in the comments. And if you're watching this channel for the first time, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Also, make sure you check out a new video on the channel right now. There are more powerful stories waiting for you. Goodbye!